All right, so today on this Warhammer 40K competitive battle report, we have the Necron Awakened Dynasty versus the T-Sons Grand Coven, and we are joined by fellow teammate Bryce in the house today. How you doing, man?
Hello, sir.
Dude, good to see you, man.
Good seeing you, bud.
Dude,
Yeah, you're Necrons. Fuck them.
we were joking around before we're doing this. It's going to be a 30-minute. So it's going to be a 30-minute report. We're taking this 3-hour game, condensing it down to 30 minutes, and then 13 minutes of it is going to be Bryce ranting about Necrons and how he truly feels about it. So if that's something that interests you, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to go through what worked, what didn't work, what we feel like we would maybe change about our list or this matchup moving forward. So if that's something that interests you, please stay around, and I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this video today. So breaking things down, we are doing Crucible of Battle deployment. We have Layout 6. I'd also like to point out we have a new sponsor on the channel here, 3D6 Wargaming. They provided these beautiful terrain footprints that Bryce and I are using in this game today.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah.
we were actually joking around about this because Bryce and I, we started essentially 40K together in 3rd edition at a local game store, and then 20 years later, fast forward, we're back into the game like full force. And we remember like years ago playing on like one of those styrofoam like fold out tables,
Yes.
like just trying to get things started. And now we're here, man. We started from the bottom, and now we're here. We're moving up, man. We're moving up.
Love
it. It's pretty cool to see, and we're playing on Lichpin today. And yeah, Bryce, why don't you walk me through just your Grand Coven T-Sons list for the people at home that don't really know what T-Sons are doing, just kind of like a top-down, what your list is, what you're trying to do, and your deployment for me.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Grand Coven is basically the new index of what T-Sons are. So just a basic run through. Spells got different. We now get to cast spells, roll dice, and cast spells, which is sick and a lot of fun.
It's pretty cool.
And if you suck at rolling dice, not so much fun, but still a lot of fun. So you can cast 2 dice. There's still some debate if 2d6 and then you roll additional blah, blah, blah. But fast forward, you get to roll dice and cast spells. The detachment itself for Grand Coven is pretty unique. So it's kind of like, I think it's Gladius. I don't play regular Space Marines, but it's Gladius where you get to pick a doctrine once and you get to pick it once a game, right? So you have +6 inches to your psychic weapons. You have dev wounds, and then you have +1 to wound, right? Really powerful. All 3 of them are really powerful and all have their own niche and everything like that. And there's different stratagems. I can put another unit into a different doctrine or the same doctrine. There's still the blank. There's still the psychic. You know, if you're against me, if you're psychic, and I can take feel no pains, blah, 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 reroll stuff. But yeah, it's a real fun detachment. They've livened up what T-Sons are about, what they still are about. And basically, my list before this was this, but they gave me an extra, I think, 150 points, right? So I'm able to add more trash in, especially because that's what the biggest thing, what T-Sons pre these codex were missing was just more trash, more things to do. All right, so lists, we got Maggie, we got Big Daddy himself, still very powerful, still be able to point and click at things. He's a blast to play with, and I have this same thing with my Death Guard. Is it's hard to not include him because he's painted fun. He's just this walking piece of just it hurts. People just are still scared of him.
Bryce is also an insane painter. I should have gotten a picture of Magnus, but obviously we're going to play another game at some point.
Yeah.
And,
for sure.
You know, we might have to get some painting tutorials of Bryce on the channel because, I mean,
love that.
It's some next level stuff, but keep going.
I appreciate that. But yeah, so then, so we have Magnus. We have an Exalted Sorcerer leading the new goats. Exalted Sorcerer on disc leading the goats.
Oh yeah,
which is goats on disc, which is so sick. I think the community is still trying to figure out the name, boats, whatever, everything. But the sorcerer gives this 6 group loan op. I gave him an enhancement for +6 to his manifestation of spells, so he can stay. They shoot 30 inches, so they can stay relatively 30 inches away, still snipe characters. AP2, 2 damage, ignores cover. Just a nasty profile.
Super nasty unit with the loan op. Yeah.
Loan up and roll around, and they're 2 OC each. So it's a rolling package of 12, 13 OC that comes on the point. You'll see it kind of like come up. And we have another character, Super Flamer Man, joined. I mean, Super Flamer Man is amazing, and he'll just always stay in most lists, I believe. There's some things that you can put him else on, but yeah, usually now that we have rhinos, we're going to put him in rhinos, right? So I've got him in the rhino with the squad. I've got another character, a sorcerer in a squad. They kind of change up the data sheet. We'll go through that later. In another rhino in front of him, and then I have the crystal squad again, which is very versatile and a great package. So late game, early alpha, things like that. So crystal, if people don't know, is you pop once per game. In my command phase, I still get to see my cards, things like that. They go up, they come back down. And then I can still do my spells and rituals and pull off stuff. So it's a fun little package. So basically that's kind of it. I have some other little Zangors doing pieces. I've got 2 infiltrating robots, which are really, really fun.
Talk to me about these Destro Terminators. I didn't know they could. They're making a celeb appearance here. The people at home need to know, man.
We don't have the robots because I don't want to pay the $250 for just a box of just for the 4 robots. So we're using my.
Wait, is that how much they're going for right now?
Well, it's the box, so they're only in like the new T-Sun.
Oh, they're not like.
Yeah.
So it's like the Transcendent. The only way to get them is like through the freaking vault.
Yep.
Dude, that is annoying.
Yeah, so and we'll have to wait another 2 months till they're out. So I'm figuring out proxies, trying to figure out stuff right now. But yeah, so we're playing with the Death Shroud, which is very intimidating right there. But yeah, so they're really sick. They infiltrate. They've got flamers. They've got they've got Overwatch for free. They're a really cool package. You'll see something that I try to do here coming up in T1. Try to do something. Maybe it works out. Who knows? Yeah, they're a really, really fun package. They annoyed Devin on our team. He plays a bunch of different armies, but currently right now I'm doing World Eaters that annoyed the hell out of them all game. So they're a real fun package.
Cool.
So basically I'll go from the top down as I can see the picture for deployment. So basically I have the Zangors right here that I know they scout 6. I'll be able to scout up if I need to. I can scout back in if I get second, right? So just, be careful there and everything. And then if I don't, I'm just going to if I get first, I just push them up, which is great, especially with next to Magnus +2 to move. They're scouting 6. I'll keep something within 2. They're going to move an 8. Maybe if I need to advance, just to annoy and get up, and then maybe move them an additional 6 with my spells. They can move in 6, 14. I mean, they can move 20, 22 inches in turn 1 if I get T1. So, which is a really cool package. On 32 mils, they block out a lot. Then right behind we have Maggie Daddy, just standing on a point. He's going to spend a CP, and I'm going to Sticky My Home, which is a really cool thing. New stratagem for T-Suns is Grand Coven, which is awesome. Then I have right next to him a squad of like rubrics and the new sorcerer up top in the Rhino, and so they're round 2 denial and kill, and so that's just right there. And then I've got Super Flamer Man in the back. New Rhino, he takes the spot of when the sorcerer comes out for next round of denial and kill. And then I've got some just bow goats, 3-unit bow goats up there next to the Rhino, holding out, screen out the back. Then I've got one squad of infiltrating robots on my center, kind of like there next to MVB. I've got and then the other one right down there. They're great. I can push out the screens, push out everything else if I go first. Maybe get a cheeky to go set up a nice corner to get look at flayed ones to get a free Overwatch, something like that. They're there to just kind of get me on a point. If I need cleanse turn 1, I can do it to 2 things rather than just 1. Then we got 2 MVBs, one in the center for center pressure. He's versatile. He can go back this way, he can go back the other way, leaving spot for Magnus if he needs to go back down. The other one right there. Then I have 2 other units here. I've got the bow goats there, the 6-unit bow goats, which are a really sweet, good piece. And then I've got my crystal squad right behind them. Why I put my crystal squad here is because I'm able to go up. And if you don't pressure me enough on this side, right, I'm just going to pop my crystal and I'm going to go to the other side. Or if you kill everything and I, have the opportunity to pop my crystal and go up, I'm going to get out of there. You can have mine and I'll redirect to the other side of the board. But other than that, it's kind of just covering the bases for a lot of pressure, put screens out, get score points when I can, especially turn 1 with the new deck and everything like that. No containment, which is great. So just trying to play for tempting target. engage in all fronts. What else? A cleanse for 2. Kind of just making sure I can maximize everything I can get.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. It's solid.
Yeah.
And then I'll just if I didn't preface this already, the full lists are going to be linked down via Pastebin in a pinned comment below the video. So if you want to check those lists out while you're watching, feel free to do so. I am running Still Awakened Dynasty, not the Warrior build, but we're running with mainly the big tech is with 3 DDAs and not 2. I've been really liking it as of late with the Hex Mark +1 to hit enhancement. It really ups their efficiency. And then we have anchor pieces like the Scorpec King, shout out to Walter, Xeris, and then the Race holding down potentially the midfield is more or less like a good play pattern right now. And then you have the Scorpex that can potentially, after the stage, set up for the a good clapback. So flipping over to the actual game here, let's get things started and also make sure that Bryce can see things okay, which it should be able to pop up now, so we're good to go. Perfect. Now, I would like to preface that we are actually playing on the new mission deck. So this is the new chapter approved, so the new set of missions that we're going to be playing for the next year. And what we did as of right now, so you guys could visually see the score, is we played Cole the Horde as, I believe it was Tempting Target. I believe, right? And then we played Containment as Display of Might. So when we drew those cards, we just basically flip-flop those over to give you some context as we go through this actual game. So sure enough, since Bryce loves going first in this game, he actually got first turn. And I'll pass it over to him. And he got no prisoners and Cole the Horde to start things off, ladies and gentlemen.
Which is whatever, right? So I'm just gonna move up. Like Zangors are just gonna move up. I go first, so I'm just going to go over here, deny this, put on the point. It's a lot of annoying OC that you have to deal with. I'm going to keep off the terrain base and everything like that. And just kind of feel like that. I'm going to move up. So I'm going to try to either get no prisoners on this or set up for a great Overwatch if I don't. So the robots give me a free Overwatch. So my cool little Zinch brain, I go, oh, I'm going to go out and move up the robots, right? And then they move 8, great.
Yep.
They double move, they can move 6, right?
Yep.
If they cast a spell and get it off. Love it. Perfect. So it's going to be great.
I would like to preface, like, we both rolled really bad in this game, but just Bryce rolled even worse. So it was definitely below average for the both of us.
I think that's a great thing. It's like you can play a perfect game, and the score is really close. You know.
Yeah, it was like tie game up until round 5 because going second is good in this game apparently.
And so people like to talk about dice, but it's you just got to play. You got to still just accept that dice are going to dice. So that's kind of the play. Only thing I'm going to be doing is moving up the robots, trying to get the corner, and then I'm going to cast a spell to go another 6 inches to get a little line of sight on the flayed ones right behind his little L there. So then we move up the other bow goats. They have lone op 18. I'm using I'm going to use for next turn. There's nothing that he's going to be able to get onto my natural expansion, or kill off, or even if he wants to put something on my natural, he won't have enough OC, or he'll have to advance to get on. So it's not going to worth his time. So I kind of just cancel that out, be able to, for T-Suns, get primary, which is huge. We love to get primary if we can. So other than that, I kind of just stage up around, making sure that I can have a unit of Rhino go up if I need to for the next turn, which I will. Magnus can go either way, and just more or less just stage, just like how it goes. And then so comes the psychic shooting phase. I cast a spell to move them again. And doesn't go off, or it goes off, but it goes off little one. It goes off little one. And so it's just a D6 and I roll a powerful 1 and they just move and score.
They're going
and what is whatever. It's still a great little spot. If flayed ones want to come out and do an action, it's still something like that. But possibly it's also a great spot to for a GDA just to put on the reverse sign and maybe come kill a couple robots. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of more or less the turn.
So Alter, and this is something I was talking about in a video earlier this week that's good to highlight that Bryce was able to do is because he has this scout unit, he drew a tempting target, not Cole the Horde, first turn because we're swapping that out, and he just got an easy 5 points.
Yep.
Or like a 60-point unit.
And I set myself up to, if I was going first, I could any of these would be great. And any of it, I wouldn't have to put out a resource that why'd I have to put out MVB turn 1? You know what I mean? Okay, put out robots. I'll put out Zangors, right? So no problem.
I think it's very important for list design right now. And I think there's still, a lot to unpack with that one specifically and how to tailor for it. So going into my turn 1, we get extend battle lines and establish locus. So not a bad pull. So more or less, it's going to be a pretty simple turn for me. We're going to essentially shift up the race, get locus in the center. That's where I want them going anyway, to really just kind of force him to commit some resources, get him to come out, and let's get this trade game going. And here was another, you guys watched Tom's game earlier this week. And again, Kylan effed up this sequence here, which you guys are going to see, a good thing to highlight on this natural expansion here. So again, we have a Scorpec Lord and Xeris moving up. Now, it created an interesting problem where Bryce is a good player. I shoot him. I use my rapid fire pistol or I use Xeris, get a couple guys off the point, and he pulls farther away and it makes it a longer charge, which I don't want to do. And where they could both move, it was essentially like a 5-inch charge for the both of them. And we're going to...
Seems easy.
Yeah, it seems easy. A 5-inch charge, re-rolling, I think, I don't know, what is that, 95% or something, super high. So you guys are going to see this unfold here. I mean, I got nothing to complain about. He rolled a 1 on this thing. It was just disastrous on both sides here. So Rays move up. You guys see that pan out. Long story short, what I think I more or less screwed up on was I should have charged. What ended up happening, I charged Xeris in. He rolls like a 3. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to spend a CP. I'm going to re-roll it because I need to get him in combat. I also need to deny this point. He gets in, I think, on a 6. And then I roll the Scorpec Lord, and he rolls a 4. So it was only Xeris. In combat. And in hindsight, it was a good learning opportunity for me where I should have charged the Scorpec Lord first because it was more value and there was a higher chance with the mortals plus his sweep. He could have maybe picked up the unit. But ideally, I needed both of them to charge because he's only 2 OC and Xeris is 3. So together with both of their output and being 5 OC, it should have been enough. But hey, dice are dice. It happens, and we move on. So Bryce is actually going into turn 2. Fast forwarding here, he's gonna get a fat 13 on primary, and he has assassination and recover assets going into turn 2. So this is essentially the board state, and take it away from here, man. What
which is, I mean, that, like I said, which is great. That's why I kept the goats on my natural expansion. So they've got a character. I'm able to sticky it again, which is great. Love that, right? To get a sticky off on the natural expansion. I'm going to make a couple mistakes here, and I'm going to highlight maybe something what I should have done. So I was very, very lucky with the goats on his natural. Very lucky. So getting a big 13 in primary in my head, knowing he's going second. There's no way he's not going to get a 13. You know what I mean? He's going to get a big, massive. I'm not going to be able to pull off enough. So either I need to keep denying him, keep us both at 8s, or, you know what I mean? Try to be able to minimize the score as much as I can. So what I get? I get assassinate and what? Cleanse?
Recover assets.
Okay, perfect. Right. So now recover happens at the end of my turn. I don't have to wait and do anything like that.
Yep.
So on my natural expansion, I'm going to just stay there. I should have, as you see now, he's going to rapid ingress a DDA. What I should have done is pushed out something to lessen that impact coming out. But I just didn't have the forethought of it. And that just happened. That's I'll never, forget that kind of thing. I'm going to move up the MVB to the middle. Yes, of course, he wants to play. I don't want to attack race. I don't want to attack warriors. I don't want to play his game into his game, but I'm not going to give him just an 8 every turn. So I have to move out the MVB, try to get some area denial. I'm going to bring up this squad, my first squad of kill and air, and kind of reduce his threat for it. So I know right now I'm going to have somewhat enough. I think I do pick up Caesarus this turn, and then he comes back up. I think so. Or it comes up next turn.
It comes up
I don't
next
think
turn.
I kill him.
You were like just short.
Yeah, I think.
How much do you love Xeris, man? He's pretty good.
Oh, he's so awesome. God. And two models have a 2-up, 4-up, 4-up. Great. Let's do that. Let's give it to Necrons, but take it away from orcs. So I have all these redundancies out. So I have this big flamer squad about to kill Xeris. I have goats that are standing on the point. Still, if I don't kill Xeris, he's not going to get it. So I'm not going to get off the point. I'm not going to do anything like that. I have a tank shock. If at the end I need to freaking use the tank shock, Xeris should be dead, hopefully. But yeah, kind of goes wrong.
No discredit to Bryce. I mean, this is just like a really good combo when you have 3 DDAs to play with, because essentially good players are like, well, I know you have the DDA in reserve, and I don't want to shift this out where you have the luxury of not now swinging 2 DDAs on this side or on this side. And so if you're wondering like why Bryce isn't shifting up, I mean, he definitely thought about it, but it's like it definitely puts your opponent in this very weird spot where it's like, yeah, he could shift these guys out, but he's like, or trying to create some sort of other screen, but he's not getting any value out of it.
Yeah.
And so it does give me a lot of flexibility to really put a DDA here super aggressively, which you'll see what we do here later. But yeah, keep going.
And you do it great on your little staging point, your bottom L there where the race are, is you leave the character behind the terrain base, where if you did put him on the terrain base, these bow goats have precision, right? Yep. I would 100% yeet them up. I would take that board space up and take that character, which is great. Yep. Like that, like if I would have saw that, I would make that trade, no problem. Because I'm thinking in my head, I'm gonna kill Xeris, I'm gonna kill another character if you are on the terrain base. I'm gonna kill 2, you can only res 1. You know what I mean? That's a great trade for me. And he's gonna go down CP, and keeping Kylan at 1 CP, 2 CP every turn, big. And especially that we're both re-rolling charges, both re-rolling this stupid stuff.
Bad.
Like,
it was bad.
But yeah, so I try, and that's the other thing we talked about, what Calvin talked about. I'm not poking out Magnus just because the fact I know he has 2 DDAs, right? 1 DDA is never going to kill Magnus. Like I like almost guaranteed, you know what I mean? You know, 8 shots, 9 shots go through, 3, 5 will hit, 5 or 4 will wound, whatever happens like that. Like I'm going to blank 1, I'm going to save, I'm going to CP roll. Like you're going to do maybe damage, but
it gets nasty when you ingress 1 in and then it's hitting on 2s with devs, and then it's not. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So I mean, I could poke out Magnus and just say, Zaris, dude, you're done. You know what I mean? Like it's 100%. But that's also what he wanted to do. If I poked out Magnus on turn 2, taking Magnus out turn 2, amazing. Taking Magnus out turn 4, not really awesome. It's just like whatever, maybe OC, but yeah. So we're gonna shoot rubrics at Xeris. We're going to get, the Rhino to shoot. We're going to get the Rhino to try to tank shock. But ultimately it fails. But thank God, just keeping keeping Zangors on the point, I'm able to just deny that primary, which is great.
And Xeris left at, I'll zoom it in for you.
Yeah, it's like 2, right?
1.
1. Okay, yeah, perfect. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, for sure. And I think I charged tank shocked him, right? And I rolled 1. Yeah, and I rolled.
Yeah, you didn't even roll. You didn't roll 1. Yeah. The Rhino. Yeah.
And then you feel no pain or something.
No, like, the Rhino. You rolled 9 dice. You didn't roll 1 5-up.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So that was dope. But it's okay. Like, right? You know what I mean? I'm not which we set up for these things. That's okay. My whole army overwatches, so that's totally fine. What happens in the middle is I needed the extra move somewhere else that I didn't bump up the MVB. I should have forethought thinking I was going to do what I can, maybe charge in, which I think I still end up doing, charging into the race on this turn, and trying to do no damage to him. So I try to do nothing to him because that gives you, like you always talk about in your I mean, that gives you free movement, gives you everything you want, right? I'm not going to do my strike profile and kill one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm going to do my
Yeah.
sweep profile, have you make a bunch of saves, and you take like 2 damage or something like that.
Yeah, because this is like, it gets, I was telling Bryce where, you know, the MVB is 5 OC or 4?
4 OC, yeah.
4 OC, yeah. So it gets very risky because of the fact that the crypto thralls can move 3 inches, right? And if he kills one wraith back here, then what ends up happening is I res this wraith during my turn before primary is scored. And with the pile and consolidate on this, now I have OC 5 versus his 4, and I take this point. Yep. So just giving Bryce full knowledge of that, like ahead of time, of what could happen. I was like, dude, just make sure you don't kill one of these wraiths because it's going to be not good. So if you're wondering why the Vortex Beast did nothing, it's because I told him to make sure it
just roll
it does nothing. just tie him up. So yeah, this is essentially the board state. Top of 2. Bryce would have loved to get assassination here, but just a lot of things are just not, like 3 things now solidly not going right. I think the MVB didn't it, like, because things were going so bad, because I think it missed the charge still by like an inch, and I'm like, dude, just like, I think just get this thing in here. Like, this is ridiculous, man. And so going into bottom of 2, I'm gonna get a 3 on primary because I only hold this objective here, and we're gonna get a containment, which in this case is actually Display of Might, which is a 4-point card and not a 3-point card. So just a slight adjustment there. And then we get Area Denial. So a very doable turn for me. Display of Might is I just need to have more units of my army in no man's land than my opponent. And that is totaled up at the end of the turn. So it's after you do any of your killing. So I knew I was probably going to be able to pick up this Rhino, this unit, maybe this unit. And then the cards were telling me I need to get rid of this Mutilate Vortex Beast right now to get a 5 on Area Denial. So essentially looking at the board state, I would have loved to shift this DDA 10 inches down here and draw a line to this rubric back here because it's a lot more value. They're a lot more threatening. But I was like a half an inch too short, unfortunately, and I don't think it was worth a CP to advance and try to shoot this unit. So you're going to see me essentially move up the DDA and play it actually very aggressively because DDAs are OC5. So it gives me the flexibility to deny this point, and then at the same time, he can try to react move, which he'll talk about. I think he rolls another 1 on his react move on these guys. Yeah. But you're essentially covering the both lines of sight where this DDA moves. So I'm going to show that here. Let me see. So you'll see this is essentially the end of my movement phase. So one slight error that I think I made was I think I should have probably moved this DDA over here and just accept if Magnus or something else wants to come out and try to kill it. I think based on our testing, I think Magnus picks up one DDA 80% of the time.
Yeah,
I would say.
Unless you spike invulns, for sure.
Yeah, unless I spike invuls, you roll really bad. But I think that was one thing I wanted to see was like how reliable is it that just by himself he can pick him up, because T-Suns don't really have a lot of long range stuff outside of Magnus and like the Vortex Beast, so DDAs can kind of play a little bit more freely in this matchup, especially if they're not running Magnus. But this was, I think, one slight error that I should have had a little bit more resources here to commit, which you're going to see how this kind of caused some problems. So shooting phase, essentially we are committing to kill the Vortex Beast. DDA is going to fire this way. Wraiths are going to fire with their pistols, and then we're going to try to clean up the rest of the damage with Scorpex are going to charge in with devs, and then we're going to activate the Flayed Ones because Flayed Ones get the ability of full sustained or full crits if you're below half strength. So that's a synergy you're trying to line up with Flayed Ones a lot, because once they get that ability, I mean, they can just shred anything with the Twin Linked and just the volume. It's crazy. So, and then we shift up the Scorpec Lord, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to go fast forward here. Let's just keep things moving. We barely kill the Vortex Beast. I think it was
it came down to the dot.
I mean, they're like, I mean, I'm telling you guys right now, every T-Suns list is going to have 2. You're probably going to see 3. At 160 points, they are just so freaking good.
They just skew the math everywhere.
Yeah, they're just so good.
Yeah.
This, Azaris fucking well, I'm not getting monetized, but freaking doofus here, not doing anything. So Rhino lives. I don't even think I did any damage. I
You
think
you did do damage to it, but the only thing is just the whole up that point was just for both of us flubbed up. Like, dude, it was. I wasn't rolling well. You weren't rolling well. You weren't making. It was just back and forth. Just uh-ohs.
yeah. I mean, if anything, everything that involved points at least is fine. So now at least we tied him on this objective. We took this over, got area denial, and we took this over. The DDA cleaned up that lone op unit, which was a solid trade. I'll take that all day, and then essentially pass the turn over to him. So turn 3, we're gonna give Bryce a 3 on primary. He still has assassination because he's definitely gonna score 5 on that this turn, and then he has defend stronghold, which I don't know if you guys noticed, but Magnus is back there, so we're just gonna give him 3 points on that and call it good. So. Talk about your turn, man. What are you thinking?
So I know I'm gonna kill Zaris, and I know I'm gonna kill this other character just because I'm gonna bring Magnus out. The DDA's on one side of the board, so now Magnus can be like, okay, I can freely move just because one DDA isn't gonna do it, two DDAs, will do it, but yeah. So we're gonna bring out the MVB. We're just gonna see that we're gonna try to math it. This new squad on my natural expansion, it's only gonna shoot at the DDA and see if it can bring it down. I just want to see how that goes. We're going to bring up Super Flamer Man, and I'm going to position him in a way that he is going to have this threat of Overwatch in the middle, and especially that you're on objective. He's going to get full wound rerolls, and then he's also going to pump shots into either Zaris or the other dumb guy with a 4-up, 4-up, 4-up. So that's kind of basically what happens. I put OC on the point. I put 5 OC on the point. You have 5 OC. I have 5 OC. You'll see it might come up that just in case storm hostile, anything like that, I'm going to match OC. I'm not going to out OC you on the point. So I'm just going to keep denying that point, and I'm going to try to re-get my natural expansion again. So this time around, it goes a little bit better. I think I'm able to pick up Zaris, and he comes back up. Kylan just accepts his fate that the other character is going to die, which I think it does in this turn or maybe next turn.
Yeah, it definitely does. He's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. I poked out Magnus's wings, man. Magnus and his dumb wings. I'm always going to play Magnus wings. But yeah, so more or less we do that. We're going to keep Zaris tied up there and moved blocked so he can't go eat up my Super Flamer Man squad or anything like that. And that's kind of just it. I'm right now at this point, I'm kind of accepting the middle's his until I have to go do anything to it. I'm going to just keep annoying his natural and try to put OC on mine just because I'm trying to, inevitably trying to get him away from a 13 or 18 for big secondary and last.
Yeah, that's all. And it's going into good turn from Bryce, getting a good amount of asset like the DDA, Scorpec King getting Zaris down. Solid like shooting turn for him, like needed what he needed to. So he got assassination, he got defend. Passing over to me, bottom of turn 3, we're going to get just an 8 on primary because we hold this objective and this objective. And we actually get Storm Hostile and no prisoners. And I like to keep both of those because I'm a little CP starved, as you can see right now, where I'm chilling at like 1 CP or 0. And Bryce did a good job here of essentially tying me on OC here so I can't get an easy Storm Hostile. So really the only thing that I can Storm Hostile is this objective right here, and I'm not in a position, unfortunately, right now to do that because he's lined up a nice Overwatch with the Rubric squad right here, so the Scorpex are locked. The best chance I had, which is another thing that went wrong, again, with charges this game, is I was like, well, maybe I can shift over these flayed ones, and they can get a charge, and then I shift over the Scorpec Lord and get a charge here. And again, I think both of these were like 6 or 5 inch charges.
And like the flayed ones had to be back more because the robots right behind that center square, they have a free Overwatch. So it had I think it would have been like a 4-inch charge, like really close, but the robots get a free Overwatch and they would have picked up the flayed ones in one go.
So I had to respect that line there at least. So going through the turn here, We essentially, what this is going to look like is I'm not going to get Storm. I'm going to cycle that for a CP because I definitely need some CP right now. And no prisoners is going to be fairly straightforward. Where now we're going to bring out the DDAs. We're going to try to kill this turn, this, and hopefully maybe we can get into this and be in somewhat of a good position to push this game. So you're going to see me move those assets and see that unfold. And we're going to pass over here. You see that the power of the DDAs, where especially with the hex mark, so he has that 6-inch aura of +1 to hit. So it allows me flexibility to shift him over and then double DDAs. So it allows me to move the DDAs but still hitting on 2s. It's very gross. And having it on the hex mark is really nice with the lone op. Because you don't have to stress as much about positioning with the aura because you don't really have to worry about line of sight and he's playing the back of the board. So this movement 10 with the DDAs and the hex mark, it's just been a really nice combo so far. And then you still have the reanimator, which he might have gotten like bumped, but touching the footprint here, so it still gives the Ophidians to pop up and do stuff if they need to. Okay, so let's keep this moving here. So what ends up happening? The flayed ones, unfortunately, well, that's a big line right there. They fail the charge, and only the Scorpec Lord goes in, which at least one of them made it in, but it's not going to be enough output to really do anything to this Rubric squad. So the flayed ones, unfortunately, are just standing there. And then we do pretty much clean up everything here, which no complaints there. So we're going to get a 5-0 prisoners. We're going to pass it over to Bryce. And at this point, it is top of turn 4, and this is the board state. He's going to get an 8 on primary because he holds his home, and he holds this objective because we failed the charge. And then he is going to get behind enemy lines and recover assets.
Okay. Yeah. Recover assets, ditch for CP. I don't think I get behind enemy lines anywhere, which I'm kind of running out of assets. It's turn 4. If Magnus needs to come out and start using his OC, his base plate is everything. So I'm going to put the Infernal Master back in the Rhino, which is a really cool little tech piece. If you fall back, put it in a Rhino, the Rhino can still shoot, blah, 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 with open top, whatever. I'm basically going to do that. I'm going to try to kill anything on the point with shooting. And then Magnus is going to LOS a weird little thing, this 1 DDA. So I'm not giving him 2 DDAs if I don't kill it that are going to get dev wounds, just 1. And then I'm going to try to kill that. And then if not, I'm going to charge in Zarus. So actually it does work out really well for this turn for Magnus. I pick up the DDA, I think on the dot or like really close to it with Magnus. And then I pick up Zarus. Yeah. And then I pick up Zarus. And other than that, like I'm just trying to set up. I'm running out of resources. So I'm just trying to set up for a turn. His bottom or his 4. I'm going to keep his. You can have his middle. I just can't give him a 13 every turn. You know what I mean? I can't give him anything like that. Other than that, I'm trying to set up for turn 5. Magnus maybe goes in the middle, maybe does something else. I'll see what the cards do for the next turn, but I'm running out of things.
So he easily gets his card of Storm Hostile, and he gets Containment, which is actually I think I misread your cards. I was reading my cards, not your cards. So you get Storm and Containment. So he stormed this objective back. That's why he brought Magnus out for 4.
Yeah.
And then Containment is Display of Might.
That's right. So I had to kill a bunch of little things and everything.
Yeah, so you had more units out. The race weren't fully out, so I only had 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and then you had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you outdid it by 1, which was perfect. Yeah. So you got that, which is solid point scoring turn for him. He's gonna keep me at an 8 on primary again because I just hold this one and this one. And then this is what I was talking about in the video from earlier this week with Ophidians. I drew behind enemy lines and recover assets. And this is what makes this just a super nasty combo because of the fact that you can drop these Ophidians in and you are getting 8 points off of 1 unit and they're not even on a point. So you don't even have to worry about like overwhelming force or storm hostile if it's like later in the game. It's super, super strong. And I think it will come up more often than you think in games moving forward. So they are obviously dropping in there. I will take that all day. And then basically looking at the board state here, now I'm really just trying to make sure that I can give him a 3 on primary going into this next turn. So basically what I'm looking at doing is I use this in a game previously where we talk about like understanding if I can kill this big target, which I don't have really enough output to kill Magnus. But what I can do is guarantee at least denying his primary by advancing these Scorpex. And I measured it where as long as I didn't roll a 1, I could get enough Scorpex on the point to out OC him. So I just needed to get 2 on the point to give me 7 OC to his 5. And I could fall back with Xeris and just essentially just not worry about killing him, but just thinking in terms of points. So we essentially are able to deny the primary here. And at this point, now we're using the raise to their full utility in terms of moving 10 over here, where he's lost enough where I don't have to really worry about them getting one-shotted or losing output, and just using them to be annoying at this point and using their OC to deny this primary over here. So you're going to see that shift, and you're going to see that play out. They get the charge off, just essentially just gumming this up here. Scorpec, this just no interaction over here. And then we pass the turn over to Bryce, which top of turn 5, he'll get a 3 on primary. He gets overwhelming force and area denial. Great pull for this last turn because I ain't got nothing in the center here. So yeah, just walk us through here. Turn 5.
I think we're just going to try to kill everything we can on your point and make it really hard on your natural expansion to just put something on. I think the DDA would have to advance. We just kind of measure everything out, that everything would have to, it'd be real awkward to get on your natural. So I'm just trying to get you not scoring a 13. I put Magnus out because I'm thinking, okay, I care about shooting Magnus, blah, blah, blah. But what I really, really care about is making sure, because the Wraiths are in combat on my natural expansion. Obviously, you can't fall back and charge. Obviously, you can't fall back and advance, right? So we measured it out. I think it was like where I placed them, you were only able to put 1 on the little template and everything. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, cool. So we both know that no way you're getting like anything on this center, right? So just that, I mean, you talk about a lot, and I've talked about this. The way to beat, not the way to beat, or just try your best against Warriors and the Wraith, is surface area and occupy space. And so I'm occupying space here. I'm just saying, no, dude, like, yeah, you can come kill me, but I'm going to keep this point. Maybe Magnus dies. Who knows? But I do kind of actually, with just 2 models over there on his natural, I'm able to wipe out everything on that side, which is kind of cool. T-Suns do have a lot of power. So yeah, so kind of just, I really don't care about my natural at this point. There's 400,000 OC on it. I say that cool, that's great. There's no interaction going on there this is where you can kind of like, if you're kind of timed in tournament games, you're kind of timed and you're running out of time, be like, I really don't care about this. Let's skip all this. None of this shooting is going to matter anyways. Let's just worry about the things we can worry about.
Yep.
So I pass it off and I see what he can do.
1,000%. I'm just like, well, we get sabotage and engage in all fronts, and I'm like, well, I guess we just try to kill Magnus because, I want some points. So we bring out the Scorpec Lord, and sure enough, the Scorpec Lord makes the charge. We get a DDA that swings out, fires on Magnus. I think he definitely rolled. DDAs, I think that was the one thing that definitely rolled above average. I got like 2 6s in the game, and this was one where I rolled a 6 again for the shots. So 7 shots on Magnus. I think like 3 wounds ended up going through for like 9 damage. So put him at like, he had 3 wounds left, or 4 wounds.
4 wounds.
I think it was 4 wounds, and then the Scorpec Lord comes in on the charge, does 1 mortal wound. And then he gets 1 strike through and can't, or 2 strikes through, and you can't, or was it like you couldn't blank 1 or something?
Well, no. So that was the thing driving back. I should have, because I CP'd rerolled a save, and I was like, oh, why didn't I just blank 1 save? But any point, I think it was better thematically that he wasn't going to blank 1. We were going to reroll it again, and it didn't work out for Maggie Boy, and it was, that was solid.
Very, very killy game. Very
Yeah.
killer game. I mean, it's just. I have like the race left and like like a couple things, but I mean, it's just not a lot on the board. So, but yeah, solid freaking game. Barely edged this one out, 78-70. It was literally neck and neck all the way through. And one big thing to point out: challenger cards did not come up at all the whole game. So, not saying they won't, but I think it's a little overblown. I think they'll come up, but I don't think it's going to be as like game defining as people.
Just like with everything, I think everything needs time. Everything needs let's let the dust settle. Let's see how it really goes and everything. And yeah.
Yep. Any like closing thoughts as far as on the game?
Man, for T-Suns, being a purely chaos player, Death Guard, Emperor Children, T-Suns, they definitely feel more powerful than they have. It's really fun with the rhinos, having things in transport, things like that. There's that new trickery I have to worry about. I love rolling for spells, even though it can kind of screw you over sometimes, which is really funny. But they are still powerful. Magnus is still powerful. Super Flame. It's a lot of fun. I'm definitely gonna.
Oh no, we lost him. He'll come back. Oh, one sec here. Oh, there he is. Let's see. Yeah, he's back. Okay, he's back. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Drop there. You're good. Sorry, what were you saying?
So like, T-Suns are, like I said, very powerful. It's really fun. It's fun to have them in transports. Super Flamer Man is still Super Flamer Man. Magnus is still Magnus. There's a lot of cool new tech pieces. We have more points to be able to do some screening, some things like that. So I think at least until we see some points, smacks into T-Suns are going to be dangerous. They're still high skill ceiling army, where if you don't put out right, or if you don't remember you have to be playing primary game, or you overextend, you will die. I mean, we still die. Rubrics get picked up like no other. But I think just this transition of having screens and cheaper things and action monkeys is going to help us out a lot.
Yep. Yeah, no, it feels good. I mean, it definitely a lot more utility with access, with like more scouting and infiltrate, where you can like legit run an MSU type list now if you want, because you don't have to like revolve around the whole Cabal point system anymore. So I think that's like really cool to see, and see kind of where things shift as far as like T-Suns go. I think it's a very exciting time, and it seems like a solid book. So
yeah, 100%.
As always, if you stuck around this long, appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a comment below what you thought of this format, or if you got any questions for Bryce on them T-Suns. But seriously, appreciate you, and we will catch you all in the next one.